Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So, we have an announcement for the Deathless raids. Now they are not gonna start for a bit still. We do have at least another full cycle of Alliance Quest before that. But we already got like an update for it. And well, basically, it's gonna be the Deathless champions, as we kind of already knew. We're gonna be fighting Guillotine, She-Hulk, Vision, and Deathless Thanos as the final boss. However, what Kabam does next kind of came out of nowhere. And in a typical fashion, when people are largely happy with raids, most of them, if there is an issue with raids for some alliances, that would be the cost, but I wouldn't say is the rewards or the general structure of it or the feel of them. I think Kabam has done something very good with raids, and majority of the people that I know thoroughly enjoy them. And when players thoroughly enjoy anything in MCOC, Kabam says, that ain't quite right. Let us put our slimy little grimy hands on it and, well, make it worse. Now, that's what they do here. So, be aware that the Deathless do not accept repeated failures. So your revive inventory limit has been drastically reduced to 1, carried over between raid events. This change is not limited to the Deathless saga and will in fact be in effect in raids moving forward. It will not affect your access to the total amount of free revives granted per event, only the inventory limit. Sounds challenging? It is. You'll be able to make most of the new raids boon grit, which will make unstoppable opponents react to hits as if though they were not in fact unstoppable. We've also updated role pools, so you may find yourself needing to flex a new variety of champions on your roster to truly face down these challenging bosses. Take time to ensure that all your champions are ready for the fight ahead. So, them changing pool is something that we have used to by now, and obviously is by far not the big talking point of this email. It will be interesting to see, obviously, which champions, have been added, which champions will go away, all that good stuff. However, why Kabam has to do us like that? Why reduce the inventory limit from 7 to 1? That doesn't really... I think I know why Kabam did it. And I completely disagree with Kabam doing it. Because, in effect, it does not change the amount of, effectively free revives that we get. Still 14. You can buy 14 revives, you can use 14 revives. The difference is, well, there are two major differences. Number one, we have a lot less room for error now. Because it was always reassuring to go in the event with those 7 revives stashed away. Because if you have a fairly bad raids week, or you're learning new champion, or you're learning a new fight, you have a bit of room for error. And then the next raids, you can catch up and save some revives because you have learned the fights. Because you're not learning them as you go, basically. And that's how it just about always worked, at least for me. Like, first time I, start new raids boss fights, I kind of screw up a bit more. I use up my 7, I obviously buy 7 more, and then we hopefully towards the end of the run, and then I either use some revives from stash or wait for the new set of 7 revives to become available for me when I finish the path and start the next week with like 4 in stash. But that's fine, because I do the fights better, and I kind of catch up, and I have this little cushion that makes me feel as if that I do not have to be, perfect. And I can still put in my fair share of work. And the reason number 2 is, I would bet, Kabam doesn't particularly like us doing raids on like day 1 in first 24 hours, and then just being happy, not thinking about Alliance Quest. It is still extremely annoying, and one of the most annoying things in MCOC to constantly think, did I do my path? Where am I at my path? Did I join AQ last night? And stuff like that. Therefore, whenever raids come, for me, at the very least, I used to be extremely happy. In my head, it was, I'm gonna put in, a good session, a good hour for the Alliance Quest raids right now. Effectively finish my path or finish with my contribution. Get better rewards for it at end of the week. And I'll happily move on with my life and do anything else that I want for the next 6 days, because I don't have to worry about clearing my paths, clearing my lanes. And that is the thing that this hits. Because previously you could start every raid with access to 14 revives. If all 3 people on your lane use these 14 revives, you can easily make your way to the boss and damage the boss as well. If each person on day 1 only has access to 8 revives, as it so happens to be right now, you can theoretically get to the boss, let's say, but then everybody has to be just about perfect, which realistically is not going to be the case, which means that, you're going to end up waiting the 3 days or 4 days until you can get the next 7 revives, and then you're going to finish the last fight and the boss and stuff like that. And that is just such a toxic bitch-ass move. As Kabam themselves have said, it doesn't change the amount of free revives that we have. Again, the only 2 things this does is it eliminates a cushion. It gives us less room for error in general. Because previously, again, new saga starts, new bosses, we might use 20 revives instead of 14, but we had access to 21. And the next time around, we might, get by with 12, 11. And we're going to stack our revives back up and not going to have to pay extra for it. Number 2 is, that we could just use those 14 revives. If we did well, clear everything, and then wait for 4 days, just restock the revive stash and be happy. So I'd be very much interested to hear from Kabam with what exactly they had a problem here. What part of that Kabam deemed unacceptable that they needed to change. So this game does have 50,000 problems. Some of them bigger, some of them smaller. The raids were not one of them. At the very least, the revives and raids were not one of them. Why? Why fuck around with it? Like, don't they have anything better to do? Isn't the game currently already waiting for an emergency update so they fix all the bugs with shading and jug special and everything else? Isn't there many more issues with AI, with champion interaction, so on and so forth? Currently, even, social page is broken. I can't scroll properly for my friends list. I'm scrolling right now actively on the screen. I can show you. Here's my screen and I'm scrolling. And it works in like 1 in a million times. Maybe work on that. Maybe. Or anything else. But why mess with this? Why mess with this? I guess my only conclusion is that Kabam hates happy people. Kabam hates satisfied, content players. They can't go a week without pissing people off. And again, in reality, it's like we still have access to them revives. Again, it just destroyed our cushion of comfort for no goddamn reason. And it made it so that now we have to go it in 2 goes and we cannot finish it on day 1. So why? So with what do you have such a big problem here? Also, we do have a community thread here where Kabam has not weighed in as of right now, as far as I know. And there are mixed opinions. you know, I do think some people are overreacting. Looking at you, Mando, you have killed another game mode. I don't think they killed it. I really don't. I think people are still gonna play because, you know, 1 week of raids is worth more than 3 weeks of AQ. But I do think they have made it worse for the players. I do think they have disincentivized a part of the community at the very least to play the raids. And ultimately, again, the question is like, don't you as a company want more people to engage with the stuff that you create rather than push them away? And stuff like this is what pushes people away. This is why nobody likes you, Kabam. This is exactly why nobody really likes Kabam except for, you know, 57 white knights on Kabam forums and, you know, CCP who are contractually obligated to like them. Just kidding. I have no idea. But I was like, why do this? Like, it's just a dick move. It's just a dick move. It doesn't change much. But what it does change, it makes worse and more annoying for the players. So there you go. The conclusion is, people up Kabam are being dicks again. Yay. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about